All right, guys. So what's kind of getting lost in the sauce of what's going on with the madness in the political world is the backlash that Twitter and Facebook are getting right now from the overt censorship of the Hunter Biden Ukraine story. Now, a lot of people on the right are upset with this, and to be fair, a lot of people on the left are also upset with this because this has been something that we've seen for a long time, especially in the Donald Trump presidency, is them overstepping their boundaries and effectively limiting free speech. So now we have a response from Twitter and Jack Dorsey, and it seems like some politicians are talking tough, like they're going to do something. They probably won't, but we're going to give them a chance. But before we get into that, my name is Greg Foreman, and you're watching a Black Conservative Perspective. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, share a Black Conservative Perspective, aka a liberal's worst nightmare. You can also follow me on Twitter at GForemanBCP. Let's get it. All right, guys. So Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham came out and said we had enough of Jack Dorsey and his BS. So we all know that Twitter had censored an article from the New York Post, and that got a lot of attention, particularly from politicians and the right around this censorship, because it really is just blatant election interference. Now, Jack Dorsey, who is the CEO of Twitter, responded to this and basically said our communication around our actions on the New York Post article is not great, and blocking the URL sharing via tweet or DM with zero context as to why we're blocking is unacceptable. You're damn right it's unacceptable, Jack. And Twitter went on to provide more clarity about their policy, which I'll get into later. But first, I want you to see this video from Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz talking about how they want to subpoena Jack Dorsey to come before the Senate and explain why Twitter is censoring. Take a look.
In the last 2 days, we've seen a remarkable development. We have seen big tech, we've seen Twitter and Facebook actively interfering in this election in a way that has no precedent in the history of our country. Yesterday, the New York Post broke a story alleging serious corruption of Joe Biden and Hunter Biden concerning Ukraine. The allegations in the New York Post story, if true, indicate that Vice President Biden lied when he said he had never discussed his son's business dealings. That story, once the New York Post broke it, was blocked by Twitter and Facebook. Anyone who attempted to share it was prevented from sharing it on Twitter or Facebook. The New York Post itself, when it attempted to put out its story, was blocked on Twitter and Facebook. The New York Post has the fourth largest circulation of any newspaper in this country. Never before have we seen active censorship of a major press publication with serious allegations of corruption of one of the two candidates for president. And Twitter is actively blocking, right now, this instant, stories from the New York Post alleging corruption and the Biden family receiving millions of dollars from communist China. This is election interference, and we are 19 days out from an election. It has no precedent in the history of democracy. The Senate Judiciary Committee wants to know what the hell is going on. Chairman Lindsey Graham and I have discussed this at length, and the committee today will be noticing a markup on Tuesday to issue a subpoena to Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee next Friday, to come before this committee and the American people and explain why Twitter is abusing their corporate power to silence the press and to cover up allegations of corruption.
All right, so, Ted Cruz is talking tough, but we'll see what they do. But before I go deeper into that, I do want to go over Twitter's quote-unquote safety policy. And the reason why they said that they blocked the link to the New York Post article is because it's in violation of their hacked materials policy. Now, what they say is that under this policy, you cannot directly distribute hacked materials. This includes posting hacked content on Twitter, linking to hack content hosted on other websites. You cannot make threats about hacking, including threatening to hack or break into someone's computer systems, threatening to post hack materials, attempting to incentivize others to do so, and offering or agreeing to assist others in doing so. Now, personally, I think this policy is BS. I think we all know that Twitter and Facebook and probably Google, but I'm on YouTube, so I ain't gonna say too much about Google, but they're all in the bed of the Democrat Party. And I agree with Ted Cruz on this. This is blatant election interference. And I'm going to tell you how I know. Because you guys remember the Melania Trump leaks where her quote-unquote friend had secretly taped her conversation with her talking about, the children at the border and, how she was frustrated with, decorating Christmas stuff. Probably because she wants to do a little bit more as first lady than just decorate Christmas stuff. But that was leaked without her permission, and they didn't censor that. So my question is that how far did this policy go, Twitter? What counts as hacked and what doesn't count as hacked? Because to me, the Melania Trump tapes are an invasion of privacy. That was a private conversation. It was secretly recorded without her permission, without her knowing, and then this person probably took that information and sold it to the media in order to try to embarrass Melania and try to discredit her before the election. But you didn't block that at all. Matter of fact, you allowed direct audio links to a conversation that was secretly recorded and released without her permission. So I don't trust big tech to police this type of stuff. I just don't. I don't trust it. And to me, it just seems apparent that they're targeting a certain group of people. And this is why I think that the left and the right can agree that big tech probably should be broken up. I mean, seriously. And this comes back to my point with Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham. Y'all go up there to the interview and you talk that big talk, but you guys have had these people at the Senate, hearings and all that stuff. And by the way, I mean, some of the questions that they be asking these people at these hearings are just like ridiculous. Like, one senator had asked Mark Zuckerberg, how does Facebook make money? If you don't know how Facebook makes money at this point, I don't know if you should be legislating anything, especially anything that comes to big tech. But my point is this. You guys keep talking, but when are you actually going to do something? I mean, are you going to slap a fine on them? Are you going to break them up? What are you going to do? Because I don't want to keep hearing talk about, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Because your job is on the line, Ted. Lindsey, your job's on the line. Because if you allow big tech to continuously censor conservative viewpoints, that's going to hurt you. That means that people are not going to be able to speak up for you. And that's going to hurt us long term. So it is important for these guys to do something. We live in a world where Jack Dorsey has now become Kim Jong-un, and he can censor anybody he wants, including the president of the United States. Because, guys, Twitter basically is a public forum at this point. And I know, I get it, there's a battle between whether or not it's a public forum. I actually think that the Second Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that President Trump's Twitter account is actually a public forum to keep him from blocking people from replying to him and users on Twitter himself. And I think there was also a similar lawsuit that came against AOC for blocking users on Twitter as well. In my opinion, I think it's a public forum, but we can debate about that in the comment section. And it just shows how important getting Amy Coney Barrett appointed is. We have to get her appointed before this election because we need a conservative Supreme Court because everything is going left. And we need the Supreme Court as a counterbalance. And Jack Dorsey, he can censor the president of the United States, guys. I mean, he can censor public officials, politicians, not just American ones, but anyone from around the world. Anyone from around the world, they can just censor you. And that's a slippery slope that we don't want to go down, guys. Because freedom of speech has already effectively been limited by woke culture and cancel culture. Because if you say something they don't like, if you don't agree with the left-wing ideology, they're going to try to look you up, find your address, find out where you live at, find out where you work, go to your job, and try to ruin your life. We've seen that happen so many times. So many times. And then you have big tech on top of that, censoring speech even further. It's too much, guys. The First Amendment is under attack. It's under attack. And it's up to these guys to try to defend it. So I'm tired of you talking. When you something needs to happen beyond this hearing. Because it has become obviously apparent that Facebook and Twitter are not playing fair. They're in the bed of the Democrat Party. These tech companies are all super liberal, and they're a part of the agenda to implement this new society, build back better, they keep saying. You see that everywhere. They're part of the agenda, guys. Newsflash. This is what's happening. It's up to these guys to do something about it and not just sit here and talk all day. So let me know what you guys think about this. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.